Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you're a new visitor here, my name is Shea. If you're a returning visitor, what's poppin'? Thanks for stopping by again. I'm glad to have you back. So, 'tis the season for transferring into graduate chapters from undergrad. So, right now, things are chaotic, and trust me, if anybody understands, I do. So, while you might be like, being inactive sounds real good right now, let's not do that. Let's try not to. If you can avoid not being active, let's try to avoid being inactive, and let's try to look for a graduate chapter. So that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to talk kind of briefly, I guess, about the perks of finding a graduate chapter that you're interested in, how to go about finding a graduate chapter, all that. So basically, we'll start from the bottom and we'll work our way to the top, just in case anybody doesn't know some of the terms that I've described or whatever. Let's go ahead and start from the bottom. Inactive means that a person at some point crossed over into a Greek organization. They joined a Greek organization. They had paid dues at one point, but by the time the next year started, they did not follow up and pay dues. So that person, after the pay period is over, they're considered to be inactive. And basically what that means is while they're still a member of said organization, they do not have like all the perks, I guess. They don't have a chapter home to attend. They can't vote for certain things. There's just some limitations as to what they can do. Now, they're still technically a member of the organization, but they're not a paid financial active member of the organization. They're just members. By paying your dues, you become a member of either said chapter or you become a member of the general organization. There's an option for that as well. But in a lot of cases, it's actually more affordable to transfer into a chapter. And that was something that I encountered when I went to transfer in 2015. I did sit out a year. I wish somebody would have told me not to, but yeah, I sat out a year to kind of get myself together and I transferred into my chapter. One of the things that I really looked for when I was transferring was the affordability. At that point, I had started working, but I mean, I was still kind of like getting my feet wet, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know how much I want to pay. So thankfully for me, at that point, I had worked in an office that had like nothing but SOARs in it, nothing but AKAs. And so one of the things that I had to do was I had to not only figure out what chapter I wanted to join, like where I wanted to, because I stay in the Houston area. So there are so many chapters around me that I had to choose from. Just within my office alone, there were like 3 different chapters that people were affiliated with, just in that office. And 4 if you count, because I worked at a university. So 4 if you count the graduate chapter of that chapter as well. So it was so many to choose from, and so I really had to do my due diligence in researching, figuring out what I wanted from the chapter, and figuring out like what I was looking for. So there are some things you have to consider when thinking about transferring over into a graduate chapter, and that's something that I wish that somebody would have told me, sat me down before I just kind of jumped into it, because not everybody knows people that are in these other chapters. They don't really have affiliations with it, and so it's essentially like, you have to do your research for the undergraduate portion, and then you have to do your research again for the graduate portion, because graduate is different from undergrad in a way that undergrad is typically 4 years until you graduate. Once you graduate, your line sisters will leave, your line brothers will leave, and sometimes it's like if you stay in the same state, then you might still be there, but there's a chance that the people that you cross with will not be there. So essentially it's like, again, you're having to figure out, okay, if you didn't make those bonds in the grad chapter that brought you over, now which chapter is it that you're looking at to cross into and go graduate? And that's why a lot of people tend to not be financial after graduating, because they don't have those bonds. They didn't have that opportunity to find who they, people that they kind of meshed with, and people that would kind of take them under their wing and figure out what they wanted to do. I kind of found myself in that same bracket, but I took the initiative to just do my research again. So things that I considered were like how the distance, how far their chapter meetings were from where I stayed. I looked at the age demographic. So definitely take advantage of the online opportunities, especially now, because everybody is pretty much having to increase and enhance their online presence. So if you see that they're kind of tech savvy, they're having these meetings, they're having these Zooms, and it seems like their chapter really just hadn't like fell off, that's something you'll take into consideration. But for me, I looked at back then what was their website looking like. Did it seem out of date? Did it seem updated? Did they have Instagram? Did they have Twitter, Facebook, things like that? So my chapter, I don't think we had a Instagram. I believe that I was the reason that we got an Instagram. I think I kind of did the push for that, but still, I think whenever I was looking for my chapter, they kind of just piqued my interest for that. They seem to have it kind of together, and since then we've elevated even more. But you know, that was one of the basics that I was looking for. Also, you think about the affordability. What is it that you can afford at this point? Because of course we're in a pandemic. And then second, as a new graduate, chances are you probably haven't solidified employment. So take all of that into consideration. Like, is this fee something that you're wanting to pay? As a young transferring person, that's something that you need to know, because you know, my finances, I mean, I'm not trying to break the bank just to, you know, join a specific chapter, especially if I don't have any ties to that chapter. So that was something that I took into consideration. I asked around just so I can have an idea. Another thing that I asked about, or I checked into, was like the age demographics. So the graduate chapter that was over my chapter was older, and so it seemed as if everything would probably be more political. I wanted to at least feel as if my opinion mattered. If I voted a certain way, I wanted to feel at least that people were taking that into consideration. Even if that's not necessarily the case, because I do understand how voting works, I still wanted to feel as if I had a voice. I still wanted to feel like if I wanted to go into a position of power or leadership, that I would still have that opportunity afforded to me. It wouldn't just be like okay, well, you're younger, sit in your place, you're a child, stay at the child's table. I didn't want anything like that. I wanted to feel as if I was really a part of it. So that's something that I looked at, you know, how old is the president? What are the, you know, what do the committees look like that I can see? What age bracket do it seem like the people that you're posting on your social media tend to be? Are they members? You know, how is that working? You take every little detail into consideration to help you make your decision, and then from there you kind of pull from that and then you make your decision. I hope this video helped. Thanks for watching. If you are one of those people who are inactive, I hope this video kind of motivates you to start that process of figuring out how to get back active. If you are looking to join a graduate chapter, trying to figure out if it's worth it, yes, go ahead and join the graduate chapter. Figure that out, because it is a good opportunity. It can be intimidating a little bit, especially now too, if you are recently if you're recently joining a graduate chapter, not being able to join them physically, it's kind of difficult, but I mean, you know, it's gonna be good. It would be a good opportunity for you. Also, if you're considering going general versus grad, check out them fees. Thanks for watching again. If you have not already done so, hit the subscribe button right now, and also hit the bell down below so you can get notified when I upload new videos. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.